Intertalk Radio, you're in to all things music.
Sometimes I do wish that, I had that super supportive system where, they said just to go for it, go for your dreams. And the only person in my family to ever tell me to pursue my dream was my grandfather. And we would watch shows like American Idol together. And he'd be like, hey, man, when are you going to be on that TV show so I could proudly root for my grandson? And I'm like,
I love it.
And I'm like, no, I'm not a singer. And this is when I was younger. I didn't really want it to be known that I liked to sing. But my grandfather knew. Like, he was the first person in my family to ever ask me what I wanted to do. Where my parents were like, you can do this or you can do this. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer. And he was the only one that gave me a shift of perspective. And it's like, wow, you want to know what I want to do? Like, you're asking me of my own opinion? So that he empowered me to think for myself.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
True, but there's certain things that you cannot do, like my broken heart that aches with the blues. The pain is real, you can see right through. We're worlds apart, I don't know what to do. The scars are real, just like a tattoo.
Right here.
Everybody, welcome to Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by the Intertalk Radio Network. You're into all things music. Guys, it's May 17th. Can you believe this year is blowing by at this pace? But I guess that's what we're going to have to deal with. But you know what? Let's concentrate on today. It's Wednesday. And I've got in my studio today, actually my studio in San Diego, we're linked up today on Facebook Live. So you guys do yourselves a favor and search us out on Intertalk Radio. It's going to be a great day. I'm going to tell you something, man. I put on Facebook a video I did a couple days ago, but the fact is I'm a little bit out of my wheelhouse on this interview, and I'm excited about it because I'm not going to lie to you, Lawrence. I've talked to all the big boys and the big girls in the industry, people that your parents used to listen to and still listen to. And my whole spiel and my rant, if you will, is the fact that this thing called YouTube and the sensations that are made on YouTube and the lack of people that are making big money on YouTube, my rant is all about you got to get out, get your ass kicked, get the door slammed in your face. You got to get bruised and beaten up. And you've got to understand what the word no means to stay relevant in this industry. Then all of a sudden, Florentino, Megan, and Paul, and Cedric, my team over at Intertalk, they introduced me to this cat by the name of Lawrence Park. Blew me out of the water, man. I mean, number one, this kid like me, we have such a look about ourselves that we couldn't rob a bank if we tried, which makes him an individual. My goddaughter, Emma, wanted to know if he was a member of BTS, the big Korean music phase, and I had to tell her that it wasn't. So I'm going to have this young buck educate this old man today on Jackie's Groove and hopefully enlighten me and some of the old cronies itself, because we've got to stay relevant in the new industry. So with that said, everybody, I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears to Jackie's Groove, Lawrence Park. Brother Lawrence, welcome, my friend.
Hey, it's good to be here, Jackie. Nice to meet you as well.
Likewise, brother. I got to tell you, man, I've become a fan in the last few days, man. Anybody that's got balls to sit in front of a camera and sing a cappella and do it is got my vote. Then plus the fact is that you were sitting next to me in a karaoke situation with Tori Kelly. I'd watch that girl read the yellow pages. She's so amazing. And so with that said, let's just start out kind of a cookie cutter situation here. You were born and were you raised in San Diego area? Tell your fans and our new listeners out there all about Lawrence Park, where it started.
I actually was born in San Francisco, and I was born and raised there. And, didn't do too well in high school, so I went to a community college. But it probably turned out for the best, so I could save some dollars. Mm-hmm. And then after I went to community college in San Francisco. I transferred to UC San Diego, and after I graduated, I've been living here since.
Mm-hmm. And what age was Lawrence? When did you discover the fact that you've got some vocal chops?
It's interesting, actually. I started singing in college, and not
late?
just I'm a late bloomer. I'm a late bloomer.
That's okay.
Yeah, not even in junior college. I didn't even start singing, in San Francisco. I started singing in San Diego. So, I describe myself as a delicate flower. I need the sunshine to bloom.
Absolutely. And I'm listening to your cross section of songs that you've chosen to do, which are all the contemporaries that are out there right now. But growing up in the Park household, what was coming through the speakers that your parents were listening to that influenced you or didn't influence you in your formative years, as they say? What were you listening to at the house?
My parents weren't really big on music, and we didn't have that much money growing up. So honestly, it's we didn't have much to really listen to, and I don't know if I should talk about this now, but so. I had probably 2 albums growing up. One of them was Tupac's Greatest Hits, and the other one was a Backstreet Boys album. And
is that the one you're embarrassed about right there? Be honest.
Yeah. In front of my friends, I'll be rocking the Tupac album. Thug Life, right? Grab your Glocks when you see Tupac, right?
Right.
But when Sharnisha dumped me, it wasn't Tupac that that took care of me. It was the Backstreet Boys, man. I'm not gonna lie. I was a closet Backstreet Boys lover, and I'll be explaining. I'm bringing this up because I don't know how much I can tell you guys, but just be on the lookout. Be on the lookout for some Backstreet Boys stuff. That's all I can say for now.
Hey, brother, and let me tell you something. This show's got my name on it, but this is your episode, so you talk about what you want to talk about. And look, I'm not going to lie to you either, man. I'm here. I'm a 57-year-old man, and about 15 years ago, I got a call from a good friend of mine, one of my fellow compadres, the fellow percussionist by the name of Ramon Islas, who plays with everybody, and he was just leaving a group called 98 Degrees. Am I saying that right? Yeah, and with Nick Lachey and Drew Lachey. And wanted to know if I wanted to do the gig. And I said no. And then he told me about the money that was involved, and I said yeah. and because he had just left and stepped out in a 2-week moratorium, and he was going to a group called the Backstreet Boys. And he had explained to me, man, which was amazing, because the fact is, and I'm going to ask you as you go on with your life stuff, are you a person who likes, wedges, or are you an in-ear guy? But the fact of the matter is, with the Backstreet Boys, and with those kind of the groups like NSYNC, the sound on stage, when you're in an arena-sized venue, is deafening. There's no need to even have that in your ears at all. And so, when you go through that situation and when you're up there and you're singing, the fans want to know, I want to know. Now, other than what I've only seen you do on YouTube, do you or are you comfortable on a stage situation with the band?
Yeah, I perform live all the time. But it's probably more, I perform live more acoustically, so I'll have either one pianist or one guitar, but it's probably like a 60-40 split. 40% of the time I'll do a full band, and I'm still learning how to lead a band. I'm still learning all the little intricacies of each instrument, so it's definitely still a learning process. Because for me, I'll keep it 100. I see myself as a vocalist. I don't really, I was never classically trained in any instrument. I started getting private lessons for voice in 2010. But other than that, I'm starting from scratch. Like I said, I'm a late bloomer. I started singing in college. And my vocal coach says it's God ordained, because I'm such a late bloomer. But he says, he saw something in me, and he was like, "Yo, I want to mentor you. I want to water this plant, and I want to see this plant grow."
Because I always say this, and I've said this on a lot of shows, and we crack up and we talk about the fact that I love to watch American Idol when it was on the air, not for the actual performances, but for the tryouts. And the parents out there that just really don't have a grip on the fact that the kid doesn't have talent. And I always tell parents, too, is when I do mentoring also, that don't force an instrument down your child's throat. Take them to a music store. Let the instrument call that child. And don't be embarrassed if your kid doesn't have talent. I mean, if you're not born with it and it's not God-blessed, I don't care if you're getting vocal lesson from Mariah Carey. If you don't have it, you're not going to get it. And it's okay to fess up and own up to that. You know, and as you said, you know, you're a late bloomer. But you know what, man? Better late than never, because we're never too old to hone our craft. I learn every day I wake up. And so with that said, going into the realm of what we talked about to the old boys and the old girls that I've interviewed, what is your feeling about, and again, I'm going to go forward here and see if you can use your little memory cap here, but are you afraid, I'm using that word loosely, of going out and being told no and having the door slammed on your face if it hasn't happened already? What's your feeling about that? What's your trepidation on that?
My feelings on that is it's a necessary evil. I've been told no countless times. Mm-hmm. I've been auditioning to shows such as American Idol and The Voice for I think like the past 5 years, and I'm unashamed to say that I've been told no every single time, obviously, because I wasn't on TV. And I feel like those no's, it was definitely a wake up call to like work harder. But it also put a chip on my shoulder to prove them wrong. So it's definitely fueling the flame of the fire in my heart. But also, like, in terms of just like when I started singing, I did music with other people, and people left me, and it's just it's been hard. It's been hard being told no, and it's been hard just seeing people that you're really close with just kind of leave. And without saying anything, and then you're kind of put in this situation of like questioning yourself, like, oh, did he leave because I wasn't a good enough singer? Did he leave because he didn't see this growing? Did he not see potential in this? So you go through these insecurities and you start questioning everything. And there was like a good year. I took after a lot of my insecurities took over, I went through like this whole depression, and I actually hung up the mic. I stopped singing for like a year and a half, and it wasn't until one of my best friends, his name is Jeremy, he was like, "Yo," he's like, "Yo, LP, you got to come back, yo, like, you know, like people need to hear your voice." And I was like, "Nah, I think I'm hanging up the mic. You know, I've been told no so many times. Like all my people that I've been working with musically." Left me, with the exception of my vocal coach. My vocal coach always told me to keep going, and even in my depression, he actually called me every day for a year and a half. You can ask him. His name is Kenneth Anderson. He's a gospel choir professor. He called me every single morning to tell me that today was going to be a good day, and that. I have everything to thank for him, for just sticking with me and continuing to believe in me.
Amen. God is good, and that's what you got to keep. Faith is going to bring us through the situation. And depression, man, we've all faced it. But when depression, I mean, you hanging up the microphone, that alone had to be more depressing than the fact of the times that you've been said no to. And believe me, I'm 57 years old. I'm in this business. I hear no all the time, and that's okay. But that drives me to turn that no into a yes. You have to have the diligence and the tenacity, just to learn to tell somebody, you know what, man, fuck it. Excuse my French. But the bottom line is, you can tell me no, but there'll be 10 other people to tell me yes. And a lot of people want to know, and I want to know also. I have a hard time dealing with this Facebook Live. Paul and Florentino want me to do the situation. I understand it's a great pool. It's a new social media. I have a hard time looking at the camera and talking without looking at the camera and talking. And so with that said, and then let's step back for the first time that you introduced yourself to this little red label logo called YouTube, and you sat down in front of the your camera, your iPhone, your Galaxy, whatever you're using. What motivated you? Who influenced you to step behind the camera and to get naked and real and raw for the masses, the millions? Because people don't understand. If you don't, let me educate you. This man has millions and millions and millions on YouTube. And when you check him out, lawrenceparkmusic.com, or go on and just search him on YouTube, Lawrence Park, trust me, my friends, you're going to be blown away like I was. And so with that said, Lawrence, tell me about this. What motivated you to sit behind this and do this and make yourself exposed to the world like this?
It was definitely I would say the pioneers of the music side of YouTube, at least. And I think just to name some people off that
Please.
That I looked up to, AJ Raphael, he was a singer-songwriter that I thought was very talented, and not just singing but playing instruments and coming up with his own songs. And another guy named David Choi. He was I think he was like the first video I've ever seen of someone singing and uploading on YouTube. So I think he was like the very first video I've seen. But obviously, you got to give a little shout out. I think you mentioned it before, Tori Kelly. Like,
Please.
I mean, yeah, like you said, you can listen to her just reading the Bible, or like you said, the Yellow Pages, and she'll get 1 million views just in the first day.
And also you mentioned something a little bit. I put myself on my notes right now. You mentioned Tupac a little while ago, and we got to give Tupac props for his induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's overdue, and so so the man's looking down, he's smiling. The fact that he belongs where he belongs to be recognized, and I want to go back and ask that question: was his music an influence to you at all, or who influenced Lawrence Park? Who does Lawrence Park? If I sat there and if I kidnapped your iPhone or your music library, what's Lawrence listening to? What was he listening to today when you're driving up to the studio?
I mean, yeah, definitely Tupac was a huge influence of just being coming out of my shell. I never experienced, like, me growing up. We like in an Asian family, you kind of told to keep to yourself, kind of told to just kind of like, don't make too much. Don't let your presence be known, kind of feel.
Right.
And I hear this man's music, and he's so outspoken, and he's filled with this passion, and he's filled with this energy, and it just feels like he's been bottling up this feeling of oppression for such a long time, and it really motivated me to, it inspired me too. I'm like, wow, I didn't know somebody can be so passionate and so out there. And so he definitely inspired me in a multitude of ways, and even just performing, giving it my all, and just treating every performance like it's going to be the last performance ever. But in terms of like stuff I listen to, I mean, obviously, I listen to Tori Kelly, I listen to, but the oldies, I got to give them respect too. Listen to a lot of Brian McKnight. I'm inspired by a lot of my vocal runs by him. And I think John Legend is somebody that I look up to a lot. And, Bruno Mars, Sam Smith, Ed Sheeran, of course.
Of course. Hey, LP, I'm going to jump in here real quick. I got this red light flashing because we're going to be blowing out of the first set of a 1 hour show. I think we may even have to go a little bit longer, brother, because you're educating me, man. So with that said, we'll talk on the break, but don't go anywhere, guys. I'm Jackie Bertoni. This is Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network, with my in-studio guest, Mr. Lawrence L.P. Park. Guys, don't go anywhere. So much more to learn, so much more to listen to. Right back.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John JR Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Trying to see you win, they're taking me thieves, and doubts are whispering for you to be a ghost. But don't you know the truth?
Everybody, welcome back to segment number 2 of Jackie's Groove. Hey guys, it's Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. Real quick question for everybody else. If you can't get our live shows, my live shows, our live shows, do yourselves a favor and do us a favor. Go on to iTunes or go on to Google Play and download our easy-to-use and easy-to-navigate free application. 2 words, Intertalk the first one, Radio second, and take Jackie's Groove and the plethora of shows of Intertalk Radio on the move with you. It's called Streaming, baby, and it's free. So take it. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Lawrence, LP. Do you want me to call you LP? Do you want me to call you Lawrence? What do you feel comfortable, brother?
You can call me whatever you want. People call me Lawrence. Right. People call me Larry. They call me LP. They call me Larry Legend on the basketball courts.
Well, let me ask you this question. I'm gonna stick with LP, man, because I have a lot of friends of mine that I call LP and LB and my friends like that. I have to ask you a question, because that little brother you heard coming in on the second segment with that Justin Timberlake falsetto, and I'm saying that with all due respect. You know, you got it, man. I mean, I listen to your voice, man, and it's real. It's as naked and as real as it can possibly get. But I have to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. My listeners want to know also: Korean, Japanese, Chinese. What's your this?
I think you asked me what's my ethnicity. Is that what you asked me?
Yes, correct.
Okay. My ethnicity is full-blooded Korean, as far as I know. As far as I know.
K-Town, baby. K-Town. I mentioned that because one of my very close friends, a great jeweler to the industry, his name is Ben Baller, or better known as Ben Yang.
Ben Baller, I've heard. Yeah,
that's my boy, man, for years. And you know, I was talking about groups like BTS with my goddaughter, who infected me New Year's Eve, and I had to watch it for 5 hours, and got 7. And I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, man.
You like that stuff.
Yeah, just don't go to, But I got to tell you, there's a lot of talent there, man. And I don't know how much real talent is there, other than what's been Lou Pearlman, if you will, who kind of put that cauldron in the pot there and stirred up, either talent or just a lot of vocal, what's the word I want to use? Maybe too much auto-tune. I don't know. But my question I need to ask you, because I always say it's good to keep it yellow, brother. But what is it with America, United States of, that has such a prejudice to the Asian community, regardless of how you sing? Charisse, probably one of the most amazing vocalists. From American Idol, and David Foster took her under her wing, but America didn't accept her because of her ethnicity. My good friend of mine, Arnel Panada, lead vocalist of the group Journey. There's still a good percentage of Journey fans, the old guys, that don't accept him because of his look. In your opinion, brother, what do you think the stigma is out there with people not accepting the Asian community in the way of entertainment?
That's something I've been thinking about for a while, and my initial reaction to this was, yeah, I felt like people didn't give us a chance. But I think now, my view has changed, and I feel like we, as an Asian community, I think we complain too much, which is a very controversial thing I'm saying right now. But I feel like, to me personally, I feel like there's so many talented people out there. It's just that I feel like, and I'm talking about Asians as well. It's just that, you know, they just stopped. They stopped doing it. They stopped going. And I think Asians, this is just me, just kind of just speaking on the top of my head. I feel like we have a lot of backup plans. We have a lot of plan Bs. So, you know, when we get that first no, or maybe even the second no, or even the third no, we're like, you know what, this ain't worth it. But I feel like in order to make it in this industry, you gotta have a mindset of there ain't no plan B. Like, I'm gonna go all in. I'm going for broke. And I think somebody asked me a question. They're like, Lawrence, if you weren't doing music, what would you be doing? And I said, as dark as it sounds, I think I'd be in a coffin. And she's like, what? What do you mean? I told her, I'm going to pursue music or I'm going to die trying. So for me, I'm all in. Like, I'm going for broke. There ain't no plan B. I mean, look at me. Like, my hands is all marked up. My neck's all marked up. I'm not going to get no 9-to-5 job after all this. So,
brother, trust me. If you look at my arms, everything else, you're preachers in the choir when it comes to that. You know, and I appreciate your honesty on that, because I want to ask you that question about, and you actually stole one of my lines there. It was actually, it's a great question. My wife came up. If you weren't playing music, what would you be doing? And I got to tell you, out of all my interviews that I've been doing, maybe the last 12 or 13 of these interviews, the response when I asked that question to these marquee artists, the response is, wow. They have to stop and take a two beat to figure that out. A couple of them said, there's no plan B. Like you said, one person said, I'd be crying. One person said, if I wasn't playing music or singing, I would use my influences for the greater good to help people who need that help. And so the fact of the matter is, you just answered your own question itself. You will die trying. Because I can't imagine doing anything else, man. I mean, what we do is pretty freaking cool. Entertaining, getting up and looking that different way of the 9-to-5 guys itself. I don't know how you deal with that. I can't deal with that. I mean, if you're looking right next to you, you're looking at the CEO corporation by the name of Florentino Buenaventura, another guy that can't rob a bank. And he actually can't play bass either. I had to throw that in there, my brother.
Oh, snap.
But what I wanted to find out.
I'm taking my bass tracks back from all the tracks we do together. You can't have none.
Welcome, my brother. Hey, Lawrence, do you consider yourself a guitarist?
I mean, I play guitar. I play piano, but I would never disrespect people like Cedric. People, that are actual instrumentalists. Like I said, I consider myself a vocalist, and I could play some rhythm guitar. I could play some rhythm piano, but yeah.
Let me ask you this question. I'm a fan of YouTube. I'm a fan of a great gentleman by the name of Shmee, Schmee. He's a Highline car interviewer. He reviews these cars, and it started out as a passion for him. But now the man has got over, I think it's 7 million subscribers. And Lawrence, he's making a grip of money, man.
Yes,
he's making a grip of money. And we're talking the fact that the cars that he was reviewing, he's now driving them. He owns them. And we're not talking about, like an SL Mercedes. We're talking about a Bugatti. We're talking about a Ferraris. We're talking about Lamborghinis and so on. What's it going to take out there, my brother, to have your huge views turn into ducats, money? What is it that we can do at Intertalk Radio and Jackie's Groove that we can enlighten the people out there that we're not doing this for our health? We're doing this, man, because we got to keep a roof over our head. What's holding you back from making big money on YouTube? and why?
I think for me, I'm not at the 7 million subscriber mark. I'm like I think we're at 170,000 right now. And I mean, if you just looking at the Social Blade numbers, pulling in around like 2.5 to 3 million views a month. But even that,
I want to qualify. Social Blade is a service that some of the more higher ranked YouTube channels get. So it's not something that the average person would see. So I just wanted, we're just used to that, Lawrence.
Florence, am I out of line for asking that? Am I out of line for asking that question, Florence? I mean, throw your 2 cents in there, man. I mean, what is it going to take for this kid to start making some serious money with that serious voice that he's got?
Well, you know what? I'm going to let him finish the thought. I just wanted to qualify people so that they understand what Social Blade is, and it's not something that's very common that the average person is going to be able to interact with. So when you get to that level, you'll get Social Blade. So you're talking, we got like 2.5 to 3.5 mil a month that you actually get in views, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing with music and just YouTube in general. I think before you were able to make a lot more money before they kind of merged with Google and they kind of mess with the algorithms. But just a long story short, if you're like the majority of my views, I'm unashamed to say that they're from covers, so they're not my original content, because not a lot of people are typing in Lawrence Park original. So it's just, a lot of my hits are like the new songs that are coming out. So YouTube already had, like, when I signed a contract with a network giving me copyright protection, they told me that there's a certain percentage that goes to the original artist, and then they obviously take a percentage for giving me the copyright stuff. So like you're getting less and less money for doing that cover. So if you're able to be an original artist that goes viral on YouTube, then that's when you can really cash in. And I think for your friend that was doing the car reviews, I think he got to a certain point where he was getting all these sponsors, and I think maybe they're the car dealers that he's talking to, they're not paying him, but they'll be like, hey, well, if you do this review, we'll give you this car, and then so he gets a free car. And he's generating income from the views. So I think it's a mixture of original content and getting sponsors. I think that's where you can really survive on YouTube alone as one income.
And then I can jump in there from there now to answer your question, Jackie. Essentially, Lawrence is a tremendous artist, and I think you've talked about how some of these YouTube celebs are make it because of there's a kind of a they got a little kitsch, or they've got a kind of a I don't know, something that's just, it's not necessarily artistry. It's just something unique. It's kind of like William Hung when he was like really popular. He wasn't a singer by any means necessary, but he was doing talk shows and everything else. It's just because he had a little kitsch that kind of stuck with people. Lawrence is not that. Lawrence is the real deal. He's an incredible talent. We met him through our folks over at the Musicians Club in UCSD, and I was blown away when I heard the music and his talent. Obviously, the numbers really make a difference, and what I realized is that we need to help him to transition into being that recording artist that people need to know about, and utilizing that his fan base, because he does he has a tremendous fan base, and the fans are super supportive. They've been able to get out there and help him raise money for his EP, and then the next phase for him is to get out and start performing. And he's got a big show this Saturday, and I want to congratulate him on that. It's his coming home show over at UCSD.
We are going to be there, man. We're going to be there in full regalia and support. I'm going to jump in real quick. I want to ask you this question too, Lawrence, and to Florentino. This is where I become uneducated, because I don't like the word business next to the word music. But I've already surpassed all that. I've already got my name out there, so I can stay away from that. But my question is, can you use these videos, YouTube videos, as a demo to go to a record label? Do record labels actually recognize this as an audition, or as a recording of what you can do?
For sure. I mean, I think YouTube is the new resume, honestly. And I think when I first auditioned for, shows like The Voice and American Idol, I had to go through the cold calls where
right.
you have to go through 5-6 rounds just to get to the last executive producer round. But for the past 2-3 years, I've been getting private auditions to these shows because of my YouTube channel, and they see my videos, and they're like, okay, you definitely don't have to go through the open calls. You can pass 2 or 3 rounds, and you can go automatically to the 4th or 5th round. So for me, it's been my resume, and like I said before, I have some other cool opportunities coming up, where I can't really tell you all the details yet, but it was because of my YouTube channel. So
cool.
Yeah, and
let me ask you this question.
I was going to add on to that, Jackie.
Go ahead.
One of the things that really does open the door is, when labels or anybody, doesn't matter who it is in the industry, when they recognize that people connect. It's all about really, especially in this industry in this day and age, it's all about interactivity. It's all about connecting with people. And obviously Lawrence has something that connects with people, whether it's being, singing a cover tune or whether it's singing one of his originals. He's able to touch the hearts and minds of people, and that's what an artist does. And, recognizing that, and, whether it be, some of the key players, some of the key individuals that are movers and shakers in this industry, he's able to demonstrate now, how that impacts. So that's one of the things that I think, it doesn't matter whether it's a label or whoever, it's definitely a door opener. And if you're able to achieve that, it's a very unique and very, special achievement that he's been able to do, because it's not something that most people can do.
Sure. And Lawrence, truth be told, man, I'm a fan, man. I mean, I really, really enjoy your voice. I mean, you brought up a little while ago about the fact of Brian McKnight. I want Florentino to infect you with a personal friend of ours I've interviewed Florentino, a week and a half ago. His name is Matt Cusson, Cusson, who originally started out as a background singer, and Brian McKnight is the one who discovered him and then brought him on the road and so on. So when you say that, I want you to check out his style of music. He's a white boy with a voice like Brian McKnight. So the fact of the matter is, no matter what skin color you were born with, it doesn't doesn't label you of what you're meant to play and what you're meant to sing and your styles that you have to deal with. Again, too, going above and beyond, not looking like everybody else. I mean, I'm raising my hand myself. I've always considered myself to be an individual. Has it ever backfired to me? I'm sure it has. I'm sure it has for you and everything else, but that's what makes us persevere. And what makes us persevere more is knowing that I'm coming out of the second segment. And I really think we need to go a little bit longer than an hour, Florentino. So let's talk about that on the break, because there's so much stuff I want to ask LP. And
we're good for 2, brother. We're good for 2.
Yeah, okay, cool. And to find out exactly where he's going to be and where his, what his feelings are about the business of yesteryear versus the businesses of today. So it's going to be kind of nice. I'm really, really backtracking here, man, because I'm going on the opposite side of what I said before. So, Lawrence, it's going to be up to you to educate me and Florentino and Paul. I mean, Paul's getting older too, and it's you never stop learning. So, with that said, when we come back on segment number 3 with my in-studio guest Lawrence L.P. Park, guys, do me a favor, do yourselves a favor, go onto YouTube, hunt this man down. We're going to talk later in the show about how we are going to support this man, and also how you're going to be able to stalk him to find out exactly everything you need to know about Lawrence Park. With that said, kids, don't go anywhere. Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Talk Radio Network. Don't go anywhere. So much more in store with Lawrence L.P. Park. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John JR Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Tony Lindsay, lead vocalist with Santana, and you're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertone.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertone.
You'll always bleed. Is it worth the pain? Are they really friends or foes that's driving you insane? Your feet are really dragging now, so let me lift you up now. You just gotta take my hand and trust me through the circumstance. The question is it gonna rain today? Is it gonna shine on?
Everybody, welcome back to Jackie's Groove, segment number 3 with my in-studio guest, Mr. Lawrence L.P. Park. That sound that you just heard coming in on the top of the segment is this young, incredible musician, singer, vocalist, guitarist, keyboardist, who doesn't want to claim the fame that he can play that also. And so with that said, welcome back. Hey, Lawrence, let me ask you a question, brother. Let's give a shout-out to the band that is going to be backing you this weekend. You want to give a shout-out to the members and mention them by name?
Yeah, of course. We definitely have a really good group going on, just backing me up. And I guess first and foremost, I'll introduce Cedric. He is the electric guitarist, but he's also kind of really helping me out in taking the lead of just musically making sure that everything kind of sounds good.
He's the MD.
The MD. Medical doctor.
The musical doctor.
Yeah, music. I like that, musical doctor. But yeah, a huge shout out to him because I've known him for a couple years, and he's always been very supportive. And I think he already knows if something happens with me, I'm definitely tagging him along. So I got mad props to him. The drummer, his name is I believe. Wait, Sean. His name is Steven, right? Is it Steven? Yes.
Steven Chen.
Steven Chen. I don't know why I said Taylor.
I don't know why you have to surround yourself with all these Asians, man. Where are the Italians and the Filipinos in there, man? Come on.
I know, right?
Well, that's Cedric's Filipino, so he's got that covered.
Oh, so he's got it covered.
And Sean,
okay.
what is Sean? He's of the Caucasian persuasion.
We got the Caucasian persuasion and a bass player. His name is Sean. That boy can play. So I'm really glad.
Yeah, he's gonna be playing your bass tracks, Jackie. I've given up.
There you go. Give him my number, man.
And we have Ty on the keys.
Ty Kwong.
And he's mad talented too. I know a lot of people that know him. I know a couple people that was actually mentored by Ty as well. So and he's a little older. I think he graduated from UC San Diego as well. But he's legitimate. A lot of people tell me good things. So that's my band.
Yeah, all the cats are either Berkeley School of Music or UCSD grads. They all kind of serve under Kamal Kenyatta as well. They've all done stuff under him, who's the producer for Gregory Porter. is kind of Grammy nominated, which we'll be having on your show sometime here in the very near future. Keeping it all in the family a little bit, but it's amazing how much talent kind of surrounds each other. And I think that's the important thing about this group, that there's a chemistry, there's a magic that kind of helps to amplify Lawrence's sound, and they're going to bring out a lot of that this weekend here on Saturday. And I think this is the first time, this is your first band that's yours, right, Lawrence?
Yeah, I mean, I've performed with full bands multiple times,
but there were always kind of bands that you would sit in with, right? Or these were, if I'm not mistaken, you've never actually had your own band where you're going off as an artist and all that stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I performed with full bands before, but this is like my first, we sat down together and really honed it down, where I feel very comfortable playing as a full band.
Yeah. So good stuff, man.
Let me jump in here real quick, Lawrence. With the gentleman that you spoke about in the band itself, are any of them providing vocals also?
Actually, a lot of them can actually sing too. But I think we decided to just go with just me on the vocals, and maybe have some background vocals in there from my original tracks.
So you'll backtrack vocals then on this gig?
Yeah, for the background vocals, like the harmonies and stuff like that. But a lot of the members can sing.
And in Florentino, this is going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, this is going to be at the Loft. Correct me if I'm wrong in the location?
Yeah, the Loft at UCSD. Big shout out to our good friend Brian Ross, who is in charge of making all that stuff over there happen. And we all sat down, and he wanted to help Lawrence launch his CD release or actually album release, because it's not just CDs anymore. But and we talked about different locations, and the Loft seemed to be the right place because it really is kind of a coming home party. Lawrence graduated from UCSD. There's been a few folks that have come on, from the USD music programs, and the Musicians Club in general, which Lawrence was a part of, and that's how I met Cedric, if I'm not mistaken. So, that's a big part, and we really appreciate those guys over at the Musicians Club, because they're trying to keep it alive, in this day and age of producers making all the music and then the singer singing the sound of the producer. These kids are out there really trying to bring about the art of honing their instruments. So you got Ken Anderson, I think was mentioned earlier, Kamal Kenyatta. These guys are out there doing it for the UCSD music program, and that's an important thing, because you and I have talked about it, Jackie, where is this next generation going to be able to embrace the artistry? And are they going to be able to bring about and start creating, the Princes of the world and the Claptons and the Demiolas and all these guys that are just virtuosos at what they do? Do we have that generation? And I think they do.
And I think that's very cool that you brought that up, man, because I wanted to throw this back to Lawrence for a second. That's a great thing you brought up there about the the sustaining with the great people that we've had on. But let me step back for a second. Let's step out of the current music LP and let's go back for a second here. Think about it for a quick second, or maybe a hard second. Is there an artist out there, that you growing up and that to this day still knocks you out, that you can actually, is it going to be, are you familiar with Al Jarreau? Are you familiar with, you just said Brian McKnight, Michael McDonald, these amazing vocalists that have put the thumbprint in our musical sound, soundtracks of our lives? Can you choose an old artist, I say old artist, that has been around 40 years, that you still knocks you out by their vocal presence?
I think two people come in or I guess two groups. Like I said, or like you said, we mentioned before, Brian McKnight and his family and his two sons, that they perform all the time, and I'm blown away by how Brian McKnight can still, blow like that. As well as his sons, and I love kind of like the groove they got going on. But also, Boyz II Men still blows me out the water. Wanya Morris specifically, he just goes crazy on the runs, and you think you're at church the way he's singing. You're just like, you're in a different place. So those two I still mess with, and I still listen to. On a consistent basis, just because, like I said, man, they paved the way of just expressing themselves vocally in a way where I thought, it wasn't even possible. Like the different melodies that they do with their voice and the different sounds they can create. It just, it like you said, it takes you into in a different world, and it takes you just spiritually, emotionally, and you're just like blown away by it. And for me, I can enjoy the music, but I'm also inspired by their music, and I want to pursue that type of admiration and inspiration, and hopefully I can relay that to people that listen to me as well.
And that's so cool that you brought that up. And the reason why I'm going back on my notes here because I'm used to asking questions to people that I know the answers, how they're going to come about. But let me ask you this question. I'm going to flip the switch, as they say. I always ask the luminaries in the industry itself, do they understand the music business of today? And I'm surprised most do. In fact, even one of the great guitarists of our time we had in the studio by the name of Richie Kotzen, Richie was almost embarrassed the fact that he said, I may catch a rash of shit from my constituents, but I enjoy the business of where it's at today. And then he elaborated on it. You can also go to jackiesgroove.com and scroll down to episodes on demand and listen to that. It's a great dichotomy about how he feels that the industry is heading in the right direction. Al Jarreau, one of the greatest vocalists we lost in February of this year, his response was he's nervous. He's nervous about where the audience is, where the business is going. And so with that said, my question to you, I'm going to flip it back here. Does LP understand the business of yesterday, the music of yesterday? Do you understand what these old farts are doing on stage and why they're still selling out 19,000-seat venues, meaning groups like Styx and REO Speedwagon and the like? Do you understand what that music's all about?
I mean, honestly, I'll be honest, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I pay my respect, pay my dues to them, but I don't know, Tina, if you want to jump in. I think,
Jackie, I'm going to, because we've had a chance to talk about this and dealing with a lot of the young characters here. They're, it's hard. One of the things that we had when we were growing up in the music business, you didn't have a whole lot of choices, man. You had to know all this stuff because that's all there was. Now, with the proliferation of different ways that you can digest music content and all that stuff, it's hard. So you get what you, and then, before you had people telling you what you were going to listen to. This generation gets a chance to choose what they listen to. When we'd grow up, we'd listen to the radio, and the radio told us what we were to listen to. And, we'd listen to different types of music or different channels, but for the most part, you had your collection of songs, top 40 became top 40 because of the 40 songs that they would play every hour. And, it was a different time. So, and I don't think the generations had, get a chance to kind of experience that. That's one of the things that, as we've kind of adopted the Musicians Club and Lawrence into, being kind of that music generation, we hope to help to share the industry and what it was like. And, I'm with Richie, man. I think the main thing is people get used to and comfortable with what they've done before. Right. They've had to learn to change. And I'll throw this back out at you, brother, because it's been a big difference for you, reinventing yourself. That's how's that been for you to reinvent yourself? Because you're probably as much known now as a radio show host as you are as a world-class percussionist.
Yeah, and that's what blows me out of the water, Tino. You and I talk about this on the regular, but and Lawrence, I'll come back to that question here, and I wanted to ask Lawrence one thing. Lawrence, do yourself a favor, my brother. In your crazy busy schedule, I think you deserve it. I think you owe it to yourself to know where you're going. You got to know where it started. And as I said, 2 Saturdays ago, I was sitting here on a Saturday night, whooping it up, watching the 2017 induction of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I felt obligated to put up on Facebook to the kids out there. When I say kids, I'm talking about anybody that's 20 years younger than me as a kid. And I said, the people that you're watching on stage right now, and that is Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam, and that is Journey, and the like, these people are older than your parents. And the reason why they're still doing it is because they're playing real music. They're singing, with real voices. They came from a time where you could be ugly and still be famous and write great music. And that's a tongue-in-cheek thing, but it's true. But the fact is, I think you owe it to yourself to solidify that foundation that you're standing on right now, brother, because, just because where the music industry is going forward, you have to have the experience of what it was to stay relevant in the industry today. I mean, come on, 40 years later, the group I started out with, Tower Power, celebrates 50 years next year. Chicago celebrated 50 years this year. Brother, that's almost, you can't comprehend the fact of how they are still selling out arena-sized situations. Do you see yourself in 30 years in that type of a longevity? Do you feel that you have, inside of what you've garnered and what you've learned right now, that you have enough balls to stay in this industry and work hard to it?
Like I said, I'm gonna pursue it, or I'm gonna die trying, and I think that's definitely a goal, is to have a long career, have some longevity. Because I'm not trying to be no one-hit wonder, Like, I'm not doing this for fame. I'm not doing this for money. Like, I'm doing this because I love doing it. And just the fact that, I got a college degree. I can make more money now.
There you go.
But, I'm okay, barely getting by, but doing what I want to do. And
Who
I
isn't,
think,
brother?
And I think, for sure, I definitely want to pay my respects and research and see how people back in the day did it before me. And I think I can learn a lot from that too.
Yeah, I mean, and I say that just because about 3 weeks ago I went and saw one of my good friends, Florentino's friend Michael McDonald, from the fame of the Doobie Brothers, and of course all of his massive worldwide hits. And in the audience, he sat there and gave props to somebody that was there in the audience. He said he didn't want him to mention it, but he couldn't let it go. And he said, I want to say a special hello to my dear friend, my musical brother, Mr. Warren G. Now you're talking about an old cat, man. It's been around a long time. He took a famous song by Michael McDonald called "I Keep Forgetting," and he made it another big, huge hit for Michael. Yeah, on Regulator, and I hope you know that too, man, because it was the mainstay where the commercial rock industry met the R&B rap industry. And it works. And again, going about the one-hit wonder, Michael McDonald made more money on Warren G's version of his song from the sample of "I Keep Forgetting" than Michael made on his own tune. I work with a big band from San Diego, a group called Big Mountain, and their biggest hit was a Peter Frampton remake called "Baby I Love You Way," in which Peter made more money with Big Mountain's hit than he made on his own. And we're going to talk about licensing. We're going to talk about publishing, and which is the most important thing. And we're going to talk about how to protect your music and so music isn't stolen from you. Because I hate to say it, my brother, but the word business and music, there's a bunch of evil freaking people in that industry. And you're going to find it, unfortunately. And you're going to figure out how you're going to meld yourself and wind around it. So with that said, we're going to come back on segment number 4, stepping out of a 1 hour, the first hour out of a 2-hour interview with my in-studio guest, Mr. Lawrence L.P. Park. And we're going to try to educate this young buck and maybe let the young buck educate us old fools here also. We're always willing to learn. So with that said, put your thinking cap on, Lawrence. Write some questions down, and some hard pressing or not. And let's talk about, I don't care if it's about faith, talk about music, talk about, what makes Lawrence Park operate and run every single day of the week. So with that said, guys, don't go anywhere. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. You're in to All Things Music. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Al Di Meola, and you're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertoni.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Guys, welcome back to Jackie's Groove. Segment number 4, second hour of a 2-hour interview with my in-studio guest, the upcoming rising star, Mr. Lawrence L.P. Park. Lawrence, welcome back, man. See, now, that tune had me going, brother. There's a great drummer, one of the most recorded drummers in the history of music by the name of John JR Robinson, who's also on our station, on our network. And he works with a great, great DJ. I hope you know him. His name is DJ Cassidy. And DJ Cassidy is, he's basically owning the airwaves out there. And that tune kind of brought that to light itself. Tell me about that song and why you got me grooving on that.
Hey, before he does that, there's some shout-outs that we want to give to some of the folks on Facebook because we appreciate them tuning in.
Yeah, for everyone tuning in, Caprice, she said awesomeness.
That's Jackie's wife.
My wife, by the way. Don't be flirting with my wife, man. Come on.
She gave me a little kiss, man. You better watch out.
There you go, girl.
Shout out to Megan. Wrote, Ken Anderson is an angel, and yes, he definitely is an angel. Ken Anderson, actually, he also has a lot of adopted kids, so he's pouring. I mean, every dollar he makes, he just immediately gives it out. So he is definitely an angel. Shout out to Carmen. She wrote gorgeous. I think she's talking about Tino, right?
It's Jackie.
That's me. Yeah, exactly.
Torella, shout out. Margaret, shout out. And yeah,
I think Margaret was talking about some egg rolls. Is she bringing some egg rolls to the studio? I don't know, man. You got to shout out to her, man. Find out. I want some of those egg rolls here. And smooth voice. That was what it was. Also, Torella said.
But I want to go ahead, man. Go ahead, because I wanted to bring up something right now too. I want to say back to LP. Thank you, man, for being this, because you are like on the cusp of what we're introducing here on Jackie's Groove called emerging artist. I was kind of against it for a while. Again, if it was a short minute about this, because I've got coming on this coming Friday a new friend, and she is ridiculous. And her name is, excuse me, I'm ready to sneeze here, Sarah from Sarah Who and Sarah Carpenter. So I want everybody to check that out. Also, another emerging artist. The girl got some serious chops and some serious talent. And so, again, going back to this young buck, Mr. Lawrence Park. Lawrence, you know what, man? That tune that you just played, again, it's Florentina rudely interrupted me on my show, but that's okay.
Hey, it's my network.
I want to talk about that tune. Enlighten me on that tune coming in. I was grooving on that, man.
Yeah, that's definitely our most upbeat, kind of like hypey song. A lot of my songs, I think just even me personally, they're written in not in a dark place, but more of like an emotional place where I tend to write more freely when, I try to mend my emotions. But we just thought, so that was the last song written, and we thought all our songs was kind of missing that hype, happy vibe. Because, I'm not trying to be no depressive singer. I don't want to just always sing about my emotions and stuff, because I'm definitely happy the majority of my life. So I want to definitely present that as well. It just was more foreign territory for me because, like I said, I write more naturally in a more emotional state. So this was a really fun way to challenge myself to really get a song where, we can celebrate instead of, kind of like being, crying with a pillow, right? I wanted a celebration song, and this was it. And it has like, a upbeat kind of Bruno Mars vibe. And
dig it.
Yeah.
And I want to say that because when you talk about, but you understand something, Lawrence, the greatest collections of music. I mean, let's talk about something of our contemporaries. Adele. Not the last album before last was written all about the fact when she broke up with her boyfriend. And in history will tell you that the majority of the greatest songs in history are all based upon somebody who wrote it because they were either going through a divorce, a tragedy in the family, and so on. So that really evokes the emotion to write. So don't ever apologize for being dark and so on. We don't wake up and we don't hear butterflies flooding around our head every time we wake up. We have life. And if life doesn't inspire you putting a pen to paper, then you're in the wrong business. And so with that said, in this last song we just heard, want to give a name and the title of that tune?
Yeah, the song's called Single. And it's just kind of a celebration where you don't have to have somebody to enjoy life. So it's kind of like when you're going out with your boys, or if you're a girl, you're going out with your girls, and you're single, and it's okay, and you're still gonna have a good time. And that's the kind of vibe we're going for that song.
Will we be delighted to hear that on Saturday?
Yes, we'll be playing that, and it's gonna be a really fun song because not to give too much away, but we're gonna highlight all the instruments in that song, and
cool.
I feel like people are gonna like it.
Lawrence, how long of a set are we looking at on Saturday?
We're probably looking at least like an hour.
Cool.
And it's going to be a mixture of covers and originals because, I don't want to abandon how I got this platform to begin with. I started out with covers, so definitely going to highlight certain covers that really put me on the map. And and I'm gonna explain some of the songs. I really loved how Ed Sheeran did his album release party where
absolutely
after each or before or after each song an MC came up and kind of asked him why he wrote that song. We probably won't do it for every single song, but definitely there'll be somebody coming up here and there just asking me why I wrote this song or why I chose to do this cover.
See, that's so cool, Lawrence, because I don't know why yourself are being considered a songwriter, a performer, or storyteller. Everybody wants, because you know what, the bottom line is everybody can take a song, dissect it, and be totally misrepresented by what the song was really all about. And if that makes you happy, that's fine also. But it's also nice to hear it from the quote-unquote horse's mouth of where the inspiration was. And then if if your emotions and if your life falls into what that song was written about, then that's great. And I think it's amazing when you say maybe not every song, but maybe why not every song? I mean, this is your music, man. This is what evoked you to write this stuff. And people want to know that, especially people who are fans of yours. What drove you to write this? What happened to you in your life that made you write this song? What didn't happen in your life that made you maybe seek out the next song? So with that said, how many more introspective or deep songs are in your repertoire that haven't been recorded yet? Is there a lot of them right now? Do you have enough music for a full album?
Yeah, the interesting thing is, I got a lot of unfinished songs in my journal. I started journaling a couple of years ago, and it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. And I think growing up, there was like this stigma of like having a journal. It was just not a cool thing to have.
Right.
But I think for me as not just a musician, not just a singer-songwriter, a journal is already really obviously helpful in that way. But me journaling every day, processing my thoughts externally and internally, I feel like it's helped me to kind of cope with certain things that I deal with, certain stresses that I deal with, insecurities and depression that I deal with. It's really it's therapeutic to kind of put it on paper, and you kind of like heal yourself through that process as well. And the beautiful thing about that is a lot of my songs come from that. So it's like I'm killing two birds with one stone. I'm healing myself in therapy and writing down my thoughts and my emotions, but they turn into lyrics and they turn to songs. So I have a lot of material, unfinished material in my journal. So if I lose that, I will probably cry. But I could probably make an album just with that one journal alone.
LP, when you look back at some of the songs that are unfinished, that you didn't finish for whatever reason that would be, do you ever look at some of the words and the lyrics and the music and you go, dude, what the hell was I going through at that time?
Every single day.
Good. Okay.
Every single time I read a lyric and I'm like, what was I thinking? And I always second guess myself. That's why there's so many unfinished songs, because I'm always like, I'm writing it, I'm like, that is dope. Tomorrow I look at it, I'm like, it sounds so corny, it sounds so dumb.
Right.
And I was like, what was I even thinking? So that happens to me all the time. And even like writing the songs that I have for my first project that's already done, that we're going to be playing this Saturday, there were so many growing pains of just like, I don't think this is right. I think I need to rewrite this. I think I need to fix this. But at a certain point, you just kind of just got to like say, hey, just this is good for now, and let's just keep it moving. So,
if Florentine, do you remember when Richie said to us when we had the interview a couple weeks ago in the studio? He had said that he wakes up in the middle of the night and he's got this great song in his head, and he tells himself, "I better write it down." And he says, "Oh, now I'm too tired, I'm too comfortable," and I go to bed and I wake up the next morning and I completely forgot it, and then I rewrite it 3 years later. I mean, so with the journal, with that said, if something hits you hard at that time, are you ready to write it down? Are you ready to record it on maybe a voice recorder? How do you keep that idea fresh so you don't sleep it off until the next morning?
I think you.
You asking Tino, or?
Yeah, you initially said me, but I think he's asking you, Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was saying I was asking you if you remember Richie telling us that. So
I said that. I said yes through ESP to you, Jackie. So that's why you hear my voice.
Thank you, my brother. So I mean, so do you find how do you keep yourself fresh and not letting you sleep through your ideas, Lawrence?
Yeah, it's I definitely, if I hear like a melody that I don't want to forget, I definitely record it, at least on the piano. And I'll write the actual notes to that melody and make sure that, okay, I want this melody to be the chorus. I usually come up with the choruses first, at least in terms of melodically. And definitely, I don't have the best memory, and I'm unashamed to say that. So I definitely have to write things down. I definitely have to map it out and remember, like, okay, this is the melody I want, because you change one note and it's like it's already a song.
Right.
So it's like you gotta remember what you envisioned, and for me, it's definitely piano is one of my best friends. I recorded on the piano, and I'll write it down in my journal.
I revert back to this question because a good friend of mine for the years, and the world famous Mr. Lionel Richie, Lionel doesn't read or write a stitch of music. I mean, when he writes a song, there's a great tune that's well older than you are, my friend, a song called All Night Long. That was one of his biggest hits. And Caprice and myself had the option of actually hearing that song on a thing called a cassette. Kids out there,
what are you talking about? What's this cassette thing?
There you go. And
mixtape,
so what Lionel does, he hums out the music. He hums out his music itself, and then he surrounds himself by players to write it. So, I mean, can you see that as a singer-songwriter, that if you didn't write music, would it be easy for you, you think? I mean, look back. Could you possibly do what Lionel does and hum out the songs?
I mean, I don't see why not.
Right.
It sounds like he had a really good support system around him that would do that for him. So, I mean, yeah, if if I could just start humming stuff, random stuff, and people would just like hit the record button and map it out, I think.
It's been said that Michael would do that too. He'll actually sing the different parts, and he'll harmonize. He'll go into the studio first, and he'll like, this is how I want the strings to go, and he'll do the vocals for the string parts, all the arrangements, and then he'll come back around and do the drums, beatbox the drums and stuff like that. So we'll just maybe Lawrence will do a whole beatbox harmony album.
Do like zero plays.
Do take 5 as himself.
And speaking of which, Lawrence, write this down also. There's a great song, and again, people want to believe that Adele had the first song called "Hello," and that the old industry joke is it wasn't. That's Lionel's biggest hit. It wasn't. That's not the same song, but the first huge hit with the title "Hello" was written by Lionel Richie. I could hear your voice singing that song just between you and the keyboard, and Tino, help him out with that song. When we get off the air, because I really can hear you. I can hear runs in that, and I can hear your voice with being a higher tempo than Lionel's. But it's really, really, it's a sad song, man, and it's but again, written out of desperation, hope, and so on. Became one of his biggest hits, also. So I'd love to have you again step back and hear Lawrence Park singing some of the old songs with a new twist.
He actually has a song. I'm going to give a big shout out to Lawrence on this one. He does "I Will Always Love You." So Dolly Parton,
really?
Does the Whitney Houston version, but because he can hit those high notes and he can do them, with power, not just falsetto, the light falsetto, but he does it with power. You guys aren't doing it in this set this time around, are you?
We are doing it.
You are? Okay.
Spoiler alert. So we will be playing that song.
Okay.
And it will be in the original key, so it will be high. So
yeah,
very cool.
We got the vice grips ready for Lawrence to hit those notes.
And men, we know what we're talking about, though, right? So.
I'll be clenching my butt cheeks on that song.
There you go. I'm glad you said it first, man. That's the whole thing. Hey, Lawrence, at your young age, man, do you have a bucket list that you've developed at this point in your life?
That's a good question. A bucket list. I thought I did, but I kind of am living out the dream per se, because the dream for me was just to do music and not be a burden to anybody, not have to like live with my parents, not have to, or just being able to survive on my own. So right now I'm like living this dream, and it's like I wake up every day and I'm like, is this even real? I'm able to just sing and survive. So that was like my ultimate dream. But I think now, just kind of off top, my bucket list would definitely be to have like, a sold out world tour. Definitely would want to have some major collaborations with other people. And like I said, my YouTube is definitely helping on that. And you guys will see very soon that maybe some of the stuff on my bucket list might come a little faster than I expect.
You know what came faster than I expect? The fact that we're coming out of number 4 right now. There's no way we could have done this in an hour, my brother. And so when we come back on segment number 5 on a 2-hour interview with my in-studio guest, young brother with the voice of an angel, man, Mr. Lawrence L.P. Park. I've got so many questions I want to ask, and I'm kind of excited about the answers. So with that said, do what you guys got to do. Go get yourself a beverage. Use the boys' room or girls' room if you must, but you don't want to miss the last 2 segments of this informative interview with my in-studio guest, Lawrence Park. Guys, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio. You're into all things music. Florentino, don't go anywhere. Paul, don't go anywhere. Cedric, don't go anywhere. Nobody go anywhere. Stay where you are. We'll be right back after a short break.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John JR Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on intertalkradio.com.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Hey kids, welcome back. Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio. You're into all things music. Before we pick it up on segment number 5, got to pay some bills, kids. And what we're going to do is we're going to say a big shout out to our major sponsors. First and foremost, Mr. Calvin Lee and the Motley Crew over at Pitbull Audio, where their motto is, we just want you to, we want to play it loud, and that is at pitbullaudio.com. Also, SIR-USA.com, studio instrument rentals for all your studio instrument rental needs and your backline needs also. And then, of course, to my drumstick company, Vater, VATER.com, for supplying me with my drumsticks of my choice for the past 23 years. Sabian Cymbals, SABIAN.com, my cymbal choice for the past 23 years. And people that I'm most biased to are my two big companies, such as DW Drum Workshop Incorporated, John Lombardi, John Good, and all my people over at LP Music, which I've been going on 27 years, and it is lpmusic.com. And to a special shout out to Derek Zimmerman, Jerry Zacharias, Terry Telepia. Thank you guys so much for your support. And you can also get DW Drums at dwdrums.com. So with that said, guys, try not to sneeze. I got allergies like crazy. So now the business is done and we're out of the way. Let's
we got a little bit more business. Hold on a second, Jackie. I just wanted
Who?
Sabian. Sabian's got a clinic over at Pitbull Audio on the 3rd. So I just wanted to kind of give a shout out for that. They're going to be pounding those cymbals. So your crew over there at Sabian is going to be at the Pitbull Audio showroom down in National City. Look that up. As well as Tosin Abasi, who is from Animals as Leaders, one of the big kind of proggy metal. I can never genting type of crowd. It's they're really huge with the guitar heads, and he's going to be there as well. He's going to be inside. Sabian's going to be outside. It's going to be a huge day over at Pitbull Audio on the 3rd of June.
Beautiful. Write that down, kids. And also, hey, Florentina, how are we doing right now with the live views of this Facebook Live right now with Mr. Lawrence Park?
Right now, it looks like let me go back to it. So I was looking up all the information on that. Now you caught me off guard on that one. But as my trusty phone will tell me, we've been able to reach about 1,500 people.
Love it.
So
perfect, man. Perfect.
It's going good. Actually, more than that, because it's on multiple. People have shared. We got 49 shares, 21 comments. But we will give a big shout out to your friend Margaret Steele is giving a big props to this. And Elizabeth Nielsen from Copenhagen. She gave 2 hearts to you, Lawrence. And then there's a gentleman, I think, from Indonesia. I cannot read the name because it's in what I think is Indonesian writing. But Lawrence Park, they love you over there in Indonesia, it looks like.
I love you too, man. I was in Indonesia last year for a gig, and it was one of the best experiences in my life. Beautiful. And I actually got booked in Indonesia through my YouTube channel, and then while I was there for 13 days, they liked me so much that I got booked for another gig at the end of my trip. So much love to Indonesia, Bali specifically. Love you guys.
I love it. I love it.
And whoever that guy's name is, I don't know his name.
My question to you, Lawrence, with that said, do you know the capacity at the Loft, and how? I mean, I would put the cart in front of the horse here instead of our last segment. But how do we get tickets before they are all sold out?
I think it's about 300.
300?
It's a little under 300, 200 and something.
Okay.
It's meant to be an intimate show that are friends and family, the people that have supported Lawrence, and we've got some great openers as well. Lyrical Groove is going to be over there. That's going to be pretty powerful. It's kind of spoken word, hip hop / neo soul-esque stuff, and it's going to be a really, really happening show. And then maybe Lawrence can correct me. What's the name of the acapella group?
We also got an acapella group called The Beat opening up for the show, which they're pretty dope as well. No instruments, just all voices. And you can get tickets at the Loft website, UCSD's Loft website. So
yeah, it promised to be a packed house, though, for sure. That's what we're
without question. Hey, so we talked earlier about a bucket list itself. Now think about the artists that are out there, Lawrence. I'm going to jump back in here because I'm curious, and so are the listeners. If you could snap your fingers, and not like I Dream of Jeannie where you nod your head, but if you could be on stage with anybody right now, and I'll be redundant on the question, think about it for a second. Who would you be on stage with? Who would it be? Male, female, past or present?
Cedric.
Yo, I mean, it's a great question. I think, just my mind just immediately says Tori Kelly, and I think it's just my attraction to her speaking. But I'm definitely a huge fan of hers. She was actually a YouTuber before becoming this huge star. She obviously went to American Idol, did that process. It definitely gave her a little boost in her social media. But I just love not just her voice, but I love her personality. I love her spiritualness as well. And she just seems like an amazing person just to not just perform with, but just to befriend and just be around.
Yeah, I reached out to her management, so I'm fingers crossed because I'm a Temecula boy. She's a Canyon Lake girl. And I want her on, man, because we have a lot of mutual friends in common. This girl's coming up, and as guy to guy, no disrespect to your lady and my wife, but I sat there one day and I overdosed on YouTube, not just her singing, but like you said a second ago, her personality, the way she looked at the camera. My God, that hair, which is God sent, and not to mention just a beautiful physical specimen of a woman, man. And then to top it off, to be the triple threat by looks, by talent, by vocals. And I want to know, because I wrote this down on the list here, on your YouTube site on Lawrence Park. I subscribed also. But when you do the karaoke thing, is that something that you have concocted yourself, or are you actually doing this with the stars?
No, this is through an app. It's called Smule, and Smule. I got to give them a shout out because they really propelled my my YouTube channel in generating a lot of views towards it. And it's they're pre-recorded parts. So the original artist pre-records it, and then you as a singer would be able to kind of listen to it first to see where you're supposed to sing, and then you do your thing. And I think mine kind of went viral in a way because it's all entertainment. I put on a show. And I pretend and I act, I talk to them, and I make it seem like it's a live take with their original artist. And I think that was, a huge thing they liked. And I'm working with them privately as well for something really cool. So I can't really say much on that because everything's not written yet, but something really cool with them is about to come up as well. So just be on the lookout with that.
I'm cracking up right now because my wife just walked in. She had no idea. She's in the studio right now, Lawrence. And come here for a second. Say hi to Lawrence. Say hi.
I look like shit, Lawrence. Hi, Lawrence. Okay.
She had no idea. She's without makeup and everything else. She's walking in the studio now. She's the one that gave you 2 kisses on the phone right there. So, and yeah, don't even do that. So she's a fan also, man. So she's cracking up too. She's kind of been enjoying it. So
tell Jackie, oh Cappy, my Cappy.
Cappy, oh my Cappy, Tino says. So, honey, you walk right into that one, honey. That's for the thousands.
That's a good thing I had clothes on.
Oh,
hey, our ratings would have went through the roof. That was the case.
The ratings would have went through the roof. Exactly. We were going to call it Jackie's boob, and that would have been a good thing also. All right, let's get back on track here for a second. Get out of my studio. And so
I wanted to give a shout out to the last thing you were talking about, though, Jackie. So Lawrence did a Jason Derulo song. What was that song?
It was called "Want to Want Me."
Want to Want Me. It's like 5 million views, and I seen the same track with Leona Lewis did with Jason Derulo, and she only had 800,000. So there's some Leona Lewis. She was a big recording artist for a while during the mid 2000s. I don't know what happened to her, but yeah, she only got 800,000. I was pleasantly surprised. Not wishing her back because 800,000 views is great, but compared to 5 million with Lawrence, there's definitely something to be said.
Yeah, and Lawrence, with that said, I have a question for you. So now again, too. Now that you're walking around with short hair and you've got the nerd glasses on and so on, I mean, you're a brother that's got long hair. You got tattoos all over the place, and I'm an ink freak myself, man. So you got special props to you for that. Even more props putting it around your esophagus, with that diamond. I mean, I hurt looking at it, man. So with that said, are you being recognized around the San Diego area when you're out and about?
Yeah, definitely when I had the short hair. I was hiding my tattoo. I had tattoos for about 5 or 6 years, but I was hiding them for a while just because I had that plan B. I had the backup plan. I wasn't all in yet, so I was making sure I can hide everything with the dress shirt. But yeah, I'm getting recognized here and there, and it's cool to get that recognition. But it's not what I do this for. I mean, every time they ask for a picture, of course I'll never turn it down. But it feels good, but at the same time, it's not something it's not the reason why I do it. And but yeah, in terms of the tattoos, yeah, it's I think definitely made me more. It's made me stand out a little bit more. And they're like, oh, like I seen your video, with Jessie J, or I seen your Whitney Houston video, stuff like that. So yeah, I'll get messages all the time. I saw you at that restaurant. I saw you at BJ's, and I was like, "Wait, I don't know this person. How did they know I was at BJ's?" But keeping that in tune, man, because you're talking to a guy right now. Again, I'm 57, but when I was 19 years old, I was working with the world's largest funk band, and I thought my shit didn't stink. And I've said this over and over again, especially now to you as a young brother. The people that you step on the way up are the same asses you're going to have to kiss on the way down. So never, ever lose faith of that, man, or lose sight of that. And I always say, too, when people walk up, it's inevitable. People are going to come up and they're going to say, hey, man, I'm a big fan of yours. I enjoy your playing and so on. And the first thing I do, man, is I say, thank you very much. I extend my hand or I give a hug. And then I always say to my wife, was I cool? And not to be redundant on the same answer, my wife says, trust me, if you are not cool, you'll be the first one. I'll be the first one to tell you that. So you want to make sure the fact is, even when you get, because you're destined for some serious fame, my brother. But you got to wrap your head around it, man. You've got to wrap your head around it because, when I'm around the people that I've been around, I mean, these are world famous people. And I will not mention any names. Everybody that I've interviewed to this date, a lot of them have been my friends, and they're world famous. There's not a day you don't turn the radio on and hear them or et cetera. But I had one gentleman on 2 weeks ago. I won't mention names, Andy Summers, from the Police, who was a prick. I'm not afraid to say that, man.
Come on, we don't get involved in that minutia. We don't get involved in
the minutia, exactly. But the bottom line is, man, Florentino, my mentor in the radio business, He knew I was getting pissed off, Lawrence. I mean, my ego was beat up. At 10 minutes, this man treated me like a redheaded stepchild. And for all the redheaded stepchilds out there, I do apologize. But I was able to flip it. And I took this gentleman, the 1/3 of the triad of one of the hugest bands in the history of music called The Police. He became a friend at the end of the term. I had two options. Either I could have succumbed to his bullshit, or I just did what I did. I kissed his ass, and we became friends. And but again, too, I don't ever want to come out of the situation where I am no longer effective other than being affected. So trust me, don't, man. Just be your happy self. Learn to say the word thank you. Learn to nod. Learn to deal with situations like selfies. And also learn to deal with people that are psycho out there too, man. The fans, there's a reason for it. There's some scary fucking people out there, brother. And you just, and hopefully you're going to get to the situation where you're going to have an entourage around you to keep you, to keep you safe and sound around that. And so when you think about that, when we all have that little dream about, well, if we win the lottery, what are we going to do? Let's pretend. So let's kind of go on the other side of the lottery. Not if, but when Lawrence hits big. Have you sat there and fantasized about how life is going to be on the other side of the coin?
Honestly, I really haven't really kind of dreamed about being famous and having all this type of money and stuff. Because, like I said before, I think for me, I wake up and I'm already happy. Like, I'm not drowning in money. I'm barely paying the bills because everything I make is through music and music alone. But at the same time, it's like in my mindset, I already made it, And with that mindset, it's like I definitely am proactive in pushing myself and trying to obtain more goals and achieve more. But I think, of course, providing for my family would be amazing, and just having my own house and having my own family and providing for them will be such a huge accomplishment. But for me, it's like I try not to think about I guess the fame and the fortune of it, because I just don't want to lose sight of like why I'm doing it. Because I think a lot of times when I do, if and when I do get a big head and I'm like, oh, I deserve this, I deserve that, it kind of I idolize myself, and I want to stay away from that, and I want to make sure that I realize or remember where I came from. I came from the bottom, where no musical training until college. Like I said, I'm a late bloomer. The San Diego sun, works some magic on me. Like I said before, I'm a delicate flower. I needed this San Diego sun for me to bloom, and I just want to make sure I focus on what's important for me, and that's just providing music that will inspire people, motivate people, and encourage people, and of course to love on people. And so that's I think that's where most of my focus is in terms of.
And let me tell you, brother, the only one that's going to keep you on the straight and narrow is you. And that's the bottom line is, man, you got to understand that it is a gift of God, and you've got to wake up. If you're a believer or not a believer, or you have faith or no faith, you got to understand that it's all on you. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, you can surround yourself by an entourage, you can surround yourself by people, attorneys, lawyers, publicists, press people, and so on, but it is definitely all on you. And you know what's all on you right now, brother? The last friggin' segment, man, coming up right now, the last 10 seconds. How's that for a segue? You guys don't go anywhere. Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. And your things. What is it, motto? What do we say, honey?
You're into all things music.
To all things music. Thank you. Guys, don't go anywhere. Last segment, we're going to reel it in right now with everything it's got to do with Mr. Lawrence LP Park. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. you're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John JR Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Tony Lindsay, lead vocalist with Santana, and you're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertone.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertone.
Just like the stars can't always see them, I'm always there. 'Cause in my eyes you're radiating. To me it is clear that baby you're a star shining brightly.
Can you believe it, guys? Segment number 6, the last 18 minutes of a 2-hour interview with my young brother. This musical phenomenon, YouTube sensation, and soon to be a mega star, Mr. Lawrence L.P. Park. Hey, Lawrence, welcome back, brother. You know, I want to ask a couple questions here. One quick question, a twofold. Regardless, I usually ask this in the beginning, but I didn't ask this. I'm going to ask it now. First thing, is mom and dad still with us?
Yeah, mom and dad is still with us. I think I got disowned twice. Once,
who hasn't?
Once for getting tattoos, and the second one is for pursuing music. When I have a political science degree with honors, they weren't happy when I chose to do music. But so they are with us.
Second part of it, yeah. Second part of it. God bless that they're with us. Do they understand what Lawrence is doing?
It's a good question. I'm not sure if they quite understand it. They see that I am doing music. They watch my YouTube channel. They are up to date with it. But do they want me to pursue this journey? No, they do not. They really want me to pursue, kind of like the more straight arrow path of, I studied political science, did well, graduated with honors, and they wanted me to go to law school. Growing up, they said, Lawrence, you're going to be either a doctor or a lawyer. Choose one. And I was like, wait, what? That's I only get 2 choices. And they're like, right. You're lucky we're giving you 2 choices. And so that was the whole mindset. And I think my older brother went to the whole medical side, and I chose like the more liberal arts side of it. So it's weird because my mom will slide little things and say stuff like, oh, when are you gonna go to law school, or when are you gonna use your political science degree? So it's like on the surface, like it seems like they support me, but I think deep inside they don't really, and I don't really blame them. It's really hard to be successful in this industry, so I don't blame them at all. But sometimes I do wish that I had that super supportive system where they said just to go for it, go for your dreams. And the only person in my family to ever tell me to pursue my dream was my grandfather, and he meant so much to me because when my grandmother divorced him, me and my grandfather actually became roommates. So we were roommates for like 10 years, and we would watch shows like American Idol together. And he'd be like, "Hey man, when are you going to be on that TV show so I could proudly root for my grandson?" And I'm like,
I love it.
And I'm like, no, I'm not a singer. And this is when I was younger. I was a closet singer, right? I didn't really want it to be known that I liked to sing. But my grandfather knew, like, I was glued to American Idol, and he knew that I loved to sing. And he's like, you know what? Do whatever you want to do. Like, he was the first person in my family to ever ask me what I wanted to do. Where my parents were like, you can do this or you can do this. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer. And he was the only one that gave me a shift of perspective. And it's like, wow, you want to know what I want to do? Like, you're asking me of my own opinion. So that he empowered me to think for myself. And I made a huge promise to myself to like really try to get on a show just for him. But I mean, unfortunately, he passed away last year, so I wasn't able to achieve that goal. But I wake up every day and I think about him. He's probably the last thing I think about when I go to sleep as well. And I hope to think that he's saying well done and just I'm proud of you. So he definitely keeps me going. And I have a whole back tattoo portrait for him.
Beautiful. And
it's a Golden Gate Bridge. And we spread his ashes under the Golden Gate Bridge. And I have the specific longitude and latitude coordinates of where he spread his ashes to. So it's
that's beautiful, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, that is absolutely beautiful. I mean, that right there, that's a song right there, man. So we get off the line, man. Get that pen and paper going because I'm all about family. My mom and dad are gone, and I know my mom was around long enough to see her son's success, and I'm thankful for that. And do yourself a favor, do your mom and dad a favor, prove them wrong, and make them proud at the same time. And you said that a second ago about the fact about being a closet singer. The CEO of our corporation, Florentino, he's always been a closet radio guy, and it didn't stop him. But when he finally came out of the closet, there you go. When he finally came out of the closet, the success of our station is growing stronger and stronger and stronger. So, do you like how I just insulted you again, brother, coming out of the closet? So, with that said, Florentino,
I'm changing my name to Baba Booey, man. That's all I.
There you go, Baba Booey, Baba Booey. Florentino, do us a favor right now, and let's talk about how we can stalk Lawrence.
Oh well, he's got a lot of good stalking websites and all that fun stuff. Lawrence, give a shout out to all those different.
You can follow me on Instagram on Lawrence Park Music, and obviously my Facebook page Lawrence Park Music. I think everything's Lawrence Park Music. My YouTube channel is Lawrence Park Music. You can also catch my originals on iTunes and on Spotify, and so definitely please follow me on Spotify. I think we got verified on Spotify, so that's awesome. I think you needed like a couple hundred followers on Spotify, so thank you for everyone that followed me on Spotify. But yeah, other than that, it's just those are the main things to follow me at.
And then
let me ask you. I'm going to ask a real quick question, Florentino. Hold on one second. I just want to ask because here you are, a young guy in the industry. I want you to think about this for a quick second, man, because it's only a matter of time before this question is going to come to reality if it hasn't happened already. But think about it: where you were, what you were doing, and what were you doing the first time you heard yourself on the radio, Lawrence? Have you had that experience yet?
Where was the first time where I heard myself on the radio?
Yeah, exactly. What were you doing? Where were you? What song was it? Have you experienced that yet?
No, my songs were never on the radio.
Actually, they're on the radio right now.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So now I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's surreal. It's surreal. I think just like I don't know. I got mad love for Tino and his crew just putting me on, and it's just kind of like hearing the transitions to the show and hearing my songs kind of come in and out, and it's surreal, and I really appreciate it.
We appreciate it, brother. We definitely appreciate this situation because, again, this is a jump off for us on emerging artists. You're the first one, and as I said, this coming Friday will be Sarah, will be my second one. And you remind me a lot, man. She's a girl with tats all over her body, man. I can see the two of you tearing it up, the both of you guys. And if we can do anything to sit there and benefit that between both parties, we will definitely do that. And Florentino, where do you see this young man going in the near future?
Well, I see him going to the Loft this Saturday.
Okay,
that was my transition. That was the one URL. That was the one URL that we didn't put out there. It's a hard. It's the URL is kind of hard. So if you go to Facebook and you go to type in Lawrence Park, the Loft, you'll pull up the events page and you'll be able to get all the information. But the actual Facebook page, I was looking at it, it's kind of long. So make sure you guys check that out. Let us know that you're going to show VIP in there if you can make it out. And then to really answer your question, I'm going to quote Kenji Nakai, who's one of the top engineers in the business. Worked with everyone from Celine Dion to Mario in Mario Kart. He did Final Fantasy. Lawrence is not paying attention with that, but not Lawrence, but Cedric's not paying attention with that because Cedric's a Final Fantasy freak. But anyway, Kenji thinks that Lawrence could be a superstar. So he is definitely on track. He really what it comes down to what we said before. The reason why we decided to work with Lawrence, besides his character, his character, his faith in his character really kind of transcends, and that's a big important part of what we do here at EnterTalk Radio. Is we want to make sure that the people we work with are people we want to work with, that are good spirits, that put people first, and we're not looking at trying to build up people that aren't out there earning it from a character standpoint. But from an artistic standpoint, his music, his songwriting is amazing. He's a great songwriter, and of course his vocals and his how his presentation, everything really kind of speaks volumes to him. And I think that there's I think he's on track for the next generation's marketing endeavors and business endeavors in this music industry, because it's one of the things that we've heard it 1,000 times. How many interviews have we done here with all the different shows, and no one really knows how to identify the next pathway to becoming a successful musician or music artist in this business. And I think there's key ones that are kind of on track, and I think Lawrence is one of those key performers / entertainers, but more importantly, musical artist. And I think he's on track.
And God knows we don't have a crystal ball on our desk, so we're learning as we go along also. But Lawrence, I want you to make one promise to me and Florentino, Paul, Megan, and Cedric, is that we don't ever have to hear these words coming out of your lips. Talk to my people. We always want to be able to have that, that straight line to effect. But again, too, we understand what it takes, not to be able to utilize all of the friendships that I have garnered over the 40 years of my career. I do the right thing, the apropos thing. I go through management. I go through publicists, as much as I hate doing that. And then I get a rash of shit from my buddies going, why didn't you just call me directly? Because you know what? I learned from Florentino, man, is that you don't want to alienate yourself or be that quote-unquote person in the industry of being a pain in the ass. Florentino will tell you that I am the most impatient person Florentino's ever met in his life. And Paul will attest to that also.
Paul's smiling too.
But the fact of the matter is, I don't do it because I want to be a pushy son of a bitch. I want to do it because I just want to know that, that they can count on me.
Yeah.
And I know I can count on them. And that's the whole thing. It's the way you surround yourself with in this industry and so on. It's people always want to know why these great bands, or have created this amazing music together, just can't work their shit out, and that's all based upon either opinions, attitudes, egos, and how do you keep that stuff in check? As I said before, you can in this industry be famous and either be effective or be affected. I don't ever want to be affected. And I always want to be effective. If I can, quote unquote, help one person with my voice, with my word, our station, what we do, then we've done our job. Are you enjoying, I'm going to put you on the spot here, are you enjoying what's going on today in today's life, you being on Jackie's Groove on part of EnterTalk Radio? Are you having a good time?
No, this is like I said, this is a huge milestone for me. It's like my second interview since my EP dropped on April 3rd. So I got asked to do a lot of interviews, but I said before that I turned them all down because my original project wasn't out yet. And the fact that my original project is out, dropped April 3rd last month. This is my second interview, and it's like my pleasure being here. It's an honor, and just to get to meet you and talk to you, and just the fact that you are curious about me and my story. I appreciate that so much. And this is, I already posted that this is like my second interview. I put it on Instagram and stuff like that, and people are just like going crazy. Like I said, I'm happy to be here, so I appreciate it.
The check's in the mail for that, Lawrence, because
thank you.
Telling that to Jackie that you should really mean I'm joking. That was all sincere.
And Lawrence, do us and yourself a favor in our network. When Paul finally gets this program archived, and which will probably be the latter part of the day, depending on his schedule, we would love to have you put this on lawrenceparkmusic.com, so your fans can go back and revert to not just going to our station, my website, which is www.jackiesgroove.com or intertalkradio.com, and you can always check that. But a lot of our artists, they're putting our interview on their website, so it basically it helps us, gets us traction, and it's also an easy way for your fans to go onto your site, because the word is going to be fans. Get used to it, my young brother. I mean, understand, your life you know it as today is going to change greatly, man. It's going to be change. The ambiguity, what's the word I want to use? Freedom. That's a good word. It's going to change, man. So it all depends on how you keep your head wrapped around it. And I'm not trying to set you up for anything, a type of a letdown. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen in a year from now. But the fact is, prepare yourself for it. Don't lose sight of what is everything that's encompassing the talent of yourself, man. So to the other kids out there, the other you guys out there that really want to get going, the ones that are listening, what advice do you have for them to get their shit together and get themselves moving forward? Go ahead and tell us.
In terms of musically, I would say there's always going to be talented people out there. Just keep going. And I think you brought up, why are there no Asian musicians out there? Why are there no Asian singers out there? And my personal belief is that there are so many talented Asians out there, they just stopped. So just keep going. Doesn't matter how old you are. Doesn't matter if you're a guy or a girl. Just keep going and just put in your hours. I'm a firm believer of the 10,000 hour theory. So just keep grinding. And I just want to give a quick shout out to a couple people. Some of my friends joined. Felicia, how you doing? Hello, Shock. I'll see you at the show. Nia, I'll see you at the show. And Kailas, how you guys doing?
And on our side, we had Humberto Fernandez from Portugal. You're like Mr. International, man. We've had Copenhagen, Portugal, Indonesia. Dude, you're all over the place, brother. That's crazy.
Nothing from Korea, though, right? Nothing from Korea. That damn Young Chow Yu, whatever that little son of a bitch is, he's probably got us blocked. Hey, with that said, the last 40 seconds of this interview, give it a shout out one more time, Lawrence. I'm going from your voice to the listeners out there. Talk about the last 36 seconds about the Loft, showtime, downbeat, etc.
Yeah, it's my release party will be at UCSD this Saturday, 8 p.m. at the Loft. Going to be me and my personal band. And it's going to be a mixture of originals, covers. It's going to be a good show. There's going to be openers, an a cappella group, a lyrical group, spoken word group. And I'll be selling my physical copies out there. I'll probably be signing them as well. And I just want to meet everybody there. And if you're in California, please come through. And
you might even get in on a Lawrence Park video, because we're going to be doing a video over there as well.
There you go. Hey, Lawrence, do me a favor, man. Extend your hands, a handshake. I'll see you Saturday, man. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys. Thank Mr. Lawrence L.P. Park for joining our show.
Yeah, Lawrence.
Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertoni. Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio Network. Into all things music. My friends, peace through music, Lawrence. I will see you on Saturday.
This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be the music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.